Hello, everyone. Mark here. Another Thursday, another market. Hope everybody is doing okay this week. We are about to hit October, and people are, we're having more and more groups, more and more people interested in purchasing homes as they come back from summer. I personally just closed on a place with a couple of friends down in Southern California. So expect there to be more buyers in the market, but in general, a little bit slow right now, which is awesome for buying. Today, we are taking a look at Fort Lauderdale, Florida. So yes, we just did Miami 2 sessions ago, and we did Orlando previous to that. But we have a ton of groups, ton of people that keep on asking for more areas in Florida. So happy to explore it. I haven't been since I was a little kid. So as we do each one of these markets, I get to know Florida more and more intimately. So it's fun for me to see all these different neighborhoods, all these different enclaves, urban areas, suburban areas of Florida, kind of planning out my next trip based on all these market analysis. So if you're not familiar with Fort Lauderdale, it is just north of Miami. It is a southeast tip of Florida, pretty picturesque, another beach city, tons of canals everywhere. I had no idea how many canals there were. A lot of waterfront properties there because of those canals that come in from the ocean. So it's pretty cool. So the first thing we always do are STR regulations. And for Fort Lauderdale, Florida, that's a tongue twister. STRs are largely unrestricted. You do have to get a permit, but in terms of the restrictions on new permits or the qualifications to get an STR permit, very light. So STR friendly area, which is awesome if you are considering, buying an Airbnb or VRBO with friends, or hey, you want a vacation there and then rent it out as a short-term rental when you're not using it. So it's an awesome place. Miami's a little more restrictive in terms of where you can and cannot have an STR. In the city. So if STR is your focus, I would just go up a little further north to Fort Lauderdale. The only thing to note here is there are a number of taxes. This is probably the most comprehensive in terms of taxes I've seen for any city so far. So there's a Broward County tourist development tax, there is a Florida transient rental tax, and Florida discretionary sales surtax. So you're looking at 3 different taxes. And so you're going to want to factor that in to some of your expenses when you're looking at property. I would say this is a slide I always love doing before we hop into listings. The TLDR on Fort Lauderdale is STR friendly city, which I mentioned, opens up more revenue generating opportunities. If you are looking for an STR, look for a 3 or 4 bedroom. They make noticeably more in revenue than a 2-bedroom. So if you're buying it or only looking at a 2-bedroom, you might as well spend the extra money for a 3 or 4 bedroom because you're going to make so much more money as a short-term rental. Getting near the beach, pretty impossible unless you have, 1.5 million to do so. But still, you're not super far from the beach, but you're not going to be, like on the water, able to walk a couple minutes and get on the beach. There's still a lot of remodeled older single family homes that are really nice for around $550,000. And the appreciation expected to be 4.4% per year. So that's pretty solid. It's not, out of this world, crazy high appreciation. But it's not bad appreciation either. When you're thinking about a home that's $500,000, 4.5% of that per year is a big chunk of change. And then lastly, if you are considering Orlando or Fort Lauderdale, I would definitely pick Fort Lauderdale. After doing the market analysis on both, you're going to spend a little bit more money, but you're going to probably find a nicer place and Orlando's STR restrictions are pretty crazy. Some of the strictest I've seen in the US. So I would go to Fort Lauderdale personally. Cool. Let's hop in to Nesma.com. If you have not used our website, it's free to use, free to sign up. Our services are free too. So I put in Fort Lauderdale, and I've already saved some homes. So you can see Fort Lauderdale, like downtown proper. You can see all of the canals that I was mentioning. You can see as we scroll further to the coast, these homes get pretty crazy expensive. A lot of these are well over $2 million, $3 million. So we're gonna stay kind of away from these canals, and we're gonna put in a price range, a min and max that doesn't give us, crazy fixer-uppers. And then let's put in $600,000. You know what? I'm gonna do 400 because I know that the homes here that are $300,000 are gonna be way less desirable and need a lot of work. So when we put in those parameters, $400,000 to $600,000, significantly narrows down, your geographic locations. You can see that nothing's really available near the ocean. The places that are going to be in these big, like condo high rises. And I do not know what the STR restrictions are there, but you can imagine in big buildings and big communities, they probably have their own STR restrictions that are separate from Fort Lauderdale. So these are more of a question mark in my head. So that's why I looked at single family homes. So let's take a look at this one. This one is in one of those big buildings that I just mentioned. I did throw in one. Let's take a look at some of these places that are closer to downtown proper, so you guys can get an idea of what's available. Again, a lot of these places, when you get close to water, are not going to be single family homes. But this one looks like it is. This one is a 2-bed, 1-bath, square footage not given. So it's going to be a little bit harder for us to estimate, what it might generate. But it looks really nice. And again, this is what I mentioned. A lot of older single family homes that have been remodeled. This one looks pretty awesome, like, Airbnb-able in terms of how it photographs. That looks pretty turnkey. If it passes inspections, this could be an awesome property. 575, and you don't know the square footage, kind of makes me a little bit nervous. And I already know from doing research here that 3 and 4 beds Airbnb for way more money. So we can go to short-term rental as a toggle, and you can see that your monthly revenue on average is going to be about $2,100. And your mortgage and all your expenses are going to be about $4,000. So you're going to be out of pocket about $1,800 to $1,900 a month. And you're going to be renting it out on Airbnb about 50% of the days out of the year, and probably charging on average about $150 a night. As a long-term rental, you get closer to a break even between the amount of money that you're bringing in. So you can rent it for almost $3,000 a month, and then your mortgage and all your expenses are $3,700. The part that would make this attractive is this appreciation, 4.5%. You can see that the equity that you build in 5 years is $282,000, and your all-in upfront costs are $128,000. So this number looks big, $128,000 to get into this home. But if you toggle this right here, partners, say you have a group of 2, goes in half, $64,000 for a down payment, and 3 partners, $42,000 per person for your down payment and closing costs. And let's just say you got a 10% down loan to value ratio from a lender, you can get into this home with 2 friends, 2 family members for $24,000 each. And in 5 years, each one of you can expect to build about $76,000 in equity, which is pretty awesome. So your rate of return is kind of more of a holistic number. This tells you the appreciation, the equity that you're building, plus revenue that you might be generating from renting it out, what your all-in upfront costs, like what sort of return you can expect on that. So this is about 16.6% per year that each one of you can expect on your all-in upfront costs, which is pretty awesome. Okay, so now that you know a little bit more about our estimates, let's zoom out. I feel like when I went south, the homes didn't look as turnkey, as polished as compared to when I started to go to north Fort Lauderdale. And again, I don't know Fort Lauderdale, so you'll have to tell me if this is a worse area, an up and coming area. But from the research I did, it seemed like more of an upcoming hip area, like hipstery, and the homes, the quality just looked like the remodels were better quality and better shape. So this place is a 3-2 and it's $600,000. So let's put a short-term rental and compare it to that 2-1 that we just saw. So for a short-term rental, you can see here that if you Airbnb this place, you're expected to bring in about $4,400 a month, and you're all in for your monthly mortgage and all of your expenses are $4,900. So you're getting closer, way closer to breaking even when you compare revenue to all of your monthly costs when you go up to a 3-bedroom. And that's what I mentioned earlier. You can see that you can charge a premium, almost $125 more when you add that third bedroom, and the average occupancy is expected to be slightly more. So you have to imagine it's going to be like a lot of families that go down, so they want that extra space. They want that extra bedroom. Families going to the beach, looking for that beach summertime vibe, people coming from the Midwest or East Coast, escaping the cold. I'm thinking that's why 3 or 4 bed is going to make you more money. Let's take a look at that again. Sorry, I clicked out. As a long-term rental. So if you got a traditional renter in here, you could charge $2,500 a month in this location, but your mortgage and expenses are about $3,800 a month. And the appreciation, similar to the other one, about 4.3% a year. So yeah, I mean, if I was looking for an Airbnb or a short-term rental, VRBO, whatever you want to call it, I would probably elect this home over the 2-1 just because I'm way closer to breaking even per month. The home's essentially paying all my costs and my mortgage. I'm just building equity at this point. So this is why I favorited this place. You can see single family, been renovated. Looks like it could be pretty much turnkey for an Airbnb. I hope they don't include the furniture, but this place looks rad. So that's why I saved it. Let's zoom into some of these clusters in this area too. See what else is in the neighborhood. Looks like I favorited this place almost $175,000 less. It's still a 3-2, but it's only 1,000 square feet. Again, single family home, got renovated, remodeled. So it photographs well. I don't know how they put 3 bedrooms in here, but it looks like, with having beds side by side, I'd imagine these people are probably Airbnb-ing this already. I mean, it looks nice. Let's go to the short-term rental toggle, and you can see that this home, because it's so much cheaper than that $600,000 home, your mortgage is going to be a lot less, and you can still make $4,400 on Airbnb or VRBO renting this out, and you're actually making money. You're covering your mortgage, all of your expenses, and getting some cash in the pocket with this place. Hence your rate of return being 22% per year. And again, you're building that equity. So 4.3% appreciation. I think this goes to highlight if cash flow is a big thing for you, you got to go at least a 3-bedroom in Fort Lauderdale. I don't know why that's a tongue twister. Let's see what else is kind of on this block. This place looks interesting. It's kind of a cute home. I don't know if it's remodeled inside, but a lot of space outside. It still looks like it's fairly old, original. Maybe, yeah, this is still original. So you'd have to sink some money into this place. It's only a two bed, two bath, so I doubt it's going to Airbnb for that much. Yeah, you're not losing money, you're just not covering your mortgage and expenses with a little place like this. If you had a traditional renter, you're still out $1,000 a month. So again, steer clear of the two bed, two bath. I'm pretty sure I favorited that. Oh, sorry, I did not favorite that one for that reason. So this is in the south. I don't know what this area, the city is called South something, which is ironic because it's north of Fort Lauderdale. So yeah, I really liked this north area because the homes were penciling, they were remodeled, looked a little more turnkey. Let's go to some of the ones that I already saved. Can see that I have saved listings for Fort Lauderdale. Believe we looked at the $600,000 home. We looked at this place for $570, and we looked at, I think, this place for $425. So you can see the majority of the homes that I favorited are going to average out to about $550,000. That kind of gets you in the game without needing to do a bunch of work. And it gets you, to homes that are 3-bed, 4-bed, 3-bed, 4-bed, 3-bed. And for example, if you're like, hey, I really like Fort Lauderdale, but price is going to be a huge issue. Let's look at this place for $320,000. It's only 720 square feet. So that's real tiny. It's 2-bed, 1-bath. The down payment, if you had a friend's, it's $35,000 a piece. If you have 2 friends, so 3 people total, it's only $23,000. But if you're thinking about, Airbnb and VRBO in this place, it's not going to make as much as that 3-bed, 4-bed. But because the mortgage is so low per month, you come close to covering all of your expenses. The only thing I worry about with a home that's under 1,000 square feet is when you guys inevitably sell it, that's going to be a sticking point unless somehow Fort Lauderdale becomes a major hotspot and people just don't care about the square footage. So 720 square feet is going to be a hard sell. When somebody can buy a place for $350,000 that's on the water in a condo with amenities. But if you're on a very tight budget, love Fort Lauderdale, a little place like this will come on the market and it will come close to penciling. Just keep in mind, I don't know when homes are under 1,000 square feet, how desirable they are for resale. Let's take a look at a 4-bedroom. I know that I had saved one. Let's save this or check out this other one over here. So this place, 1,800 square feet, 4-bed, 2-bath, again, remodeled single family. It has a pool in the back, which is really enticing for somebody who wants to Airbnb or VRBO a place. No fence, could be an issue. I have no idea where the beach is in this photo. But this place looks pretty turnkey if it passes inspection. Well, you can see where it is. Again, don't know this area, like more north Fort Lauderdale. But when you toggle over to short-term rental, you can see that this place is going to bring in more than you're spending on your mortgage and expenses. So a place like this would, pay for everything for you and your group, and you guys would just sit there, building equity every single year. Which is why the rate of return is so stellar. 21% per year is what this is predicted as. And really that's due to your monthly rental revenue covering, the majority of your costs, which is pretty awesome, pretty killer. Let's see if this other 4-bedroom does the same and pencils out the same. I don't know if it's in the exact same area of the city, but this place, very similar in terms of the remodel. It depends on what you're a fan of. And I don't know if it had a pool in the back. I think the pool in the other place was pretty cool, but this backyard looks like it could be super fun too. No pool, but as a short-term rental, this must be in a different area, Fort Lauderdale. It's expected to bring in $6,400 a month on average as an Airbnb, and your mortgage expenses are only $5,400. So you're covering all your costs, and you're getting $1,000 in your pocket every single month. So the rate of return is going to be even higher than that last 4-bedroom that we just looked at. So this is expected to be 26.3% per year. This is a killer spot. Let's see, this map isn't zoomable yet. Otherwise, I'd zoom out and see exactly where in the city this was. Let's say in a pinch, you guys need to get a long-term renter in there. Somebody who's 6 months or month to month or 12-month lease. The rental revenue comes close to covering your mortgage and expenses. So this place is pretty solid, which is why I saved it. I'm gonna mark that one a 5-star. This other 4-bedroom, a 5-star. This little 3-bedroom, I'm gonna do a 4-star. This 320 place, I think a 3-star. I'm just worried about the resale. And this other place for $600,000 that we looked at earlier, it's 1 less bedroom, and it's more expensive than these other 2 places. So I'll probably put it a 3-star or a 4-star as well. So yeah, I guess to sum this up, Fort Lauderdale, if you are considering a place in Florida, Fort Lauderdale, great pick. I think it's my favorite pick out of Orlando, Miami, and Fort Lauderdale so far. STR permits are available. It seems pretty straightforward. Again, restrictions, there's basically none. You just have to get that permit, obviously, pass inspections. But yeah, home price is right down the middle, $500,000. Yeah, this is a great pick. I think in the future we're going to do Tampa, has been asked for, Panama City, and maybe there's some other ones in there. But so far in Florida, Fort Lauderdale would be my pick and my top runner. But yeah, hopefully you guys learned a little bit about Fort Lauderdale. Hop on Nestment, type it in, and explore for yourself. Start saving listings, invite your friends, you can rank them together, mess with the estimates depending on how many people are in your group, and start tinkering around, see if they pencil out for you. But yeah, great city. Yeah, I just need to go there now. But until next time, I think we're gonna do, we're going south, not south of Florida, but I think we're gonna look at Alabama, the Gulf Coast part of Alabama for our next market analysis session. So stay tuned for that one. And if you guys have any suggestions, shoot me an email, mark@nestman.com. I'll make sure to cover a market you guys are interested in next. Thanks, everybody.